Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Figuratively Speaking. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I am also running some new equipment today. So, today is an unboxing of King Hiss from Origins, also as well. So, I'm going to do a brief origin story of King Hiss. Now, not a lot is known about King Hiss and his origins. He was never brought into Filmation's cartoon of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. In fact, he wasn't brought in to the Masters of the Universe line um, until much later into the line. If you want to definitely know more of his origin story, I suggest three comic books that come into play. Rise of the Snake Men, books 1, 2, and 3, by MV Comics, and this is book 3. The illustration in these comics and the story behind the Snake Men go back into the 2002 2000X Masters of the Universe. So, a brief rundown. And now you perish by the poisonous power of my serpent's venom, King Hiss. King Hiss is a supreme ruler of the sinister and cruel race known as the Snake Men, and the major antagonist in He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. He is the arch enemy of Zodak, the cosmic enforcer. In ancient times, the Snake Men nearly conquered Eternia. King Hiss confronted King Grayskull before the evil Horde, led by Hordak, who would also attack. During the Great War, Zelar, the brother of Zodak, was eaten by King Hiss. The Snake Men were defeated by the Elders and the mystic Zodak. But ions later, they would return from their prison. King Hiss was the original inhabitant of Snake Mountain. Brief history. Not much is known about King Hiss' past. Once in ancient times, he was named Hiss of the Viper House and was the servant to the mysterious evil entity, the Unnamed One. Now, he is not to be mistaken as the Faceless One. The Faceless One is actually a very different character. He was the most sinister and ruthless of the Snake Men and would become their king. He, just like all other Snake Men, was a humanoid snake, but unlike them, could transform into a human-like facade. King Hiss would become able to wield dark magic as ancient as that of the Elders. With his armies of vicious snake men, he marched to King Grayskull's castle to conquer Eternia. As the Great Wars unfolded, King Hiss, King Grayskull, and King Hiss were locked in mortal combat. When they were on the brink of victory, the evil horde, led by Hordak, appeared and defeated the Snake Men. King Grayskull battled Hordak and died in the battle. The Mystic Elders were then born. The Snake Men returned to Snake Mountain, which once was their living god Serpos. In a battle at Snake Mountain, King Hiss and the Snake Men faced off against Zelar and Zodak, the Mystics' enforcers. Zelar was brutally killed and consumed by King Hiss, snake form. The Snake Men General Ratlor beat Zodak and threw him into a stream. From that day forth, Zodak promised he would avenge his brother's death and destroy King Hiss. And so he did, and eventually the Snake Men were beaten by the combined strengths of the Elders and Zodak. The Elders locked the Snake Men up in a deep dimensional void, deep within the hidden corridors of Snake Mountain. Only the staff of Zodak could reopen the void and free the snakes from their captivity. Centuries passed. The Council of Elders was no more. The evil Skeletor and his warriors had taken shelter in Snake Mountain. And a new heroic warrior, He-Man, had risen to protect Eternia. A descendant of the old Snake Men, the Viperous Cobra Khan, was locked in the Eternian prison. Cobra Khan had all his life planned somehow to free his ancestors so they could rule Eternia once again. Khan escaped from his prison and left to Snake Mountain, confronting Skeletor and his warriors. That's just a brief rundown of the origin story of King Hiss. However, once again, in these three comics that I had mentioned, you will get the entire rundown of King Hiss and his origin story. He's a very phenomenal character. And of course, that will be my unboxing. But right now, I am going to bring a guest in. I'm going to bring a guest in, and he really needs no introduction. Radical Toys, Adam.
Hey guys.
Hey,
how you guys
Adam, how you
doing?
doing?
I'm pretty good. How you guys making out?
Oh, doing real good.
Awesome. Yeah.
Loving that puppet.
Thanks. I actually just created it today just specifically for your stream. So
Very nice.
I was like, cool.
So,
Yeah, all the King Hiss love lately. I just love it. Everyone seems to be picking up a King Hiss in some shape or form. I got the classics. You got the origins. I see my buddy's custom says he's got one on the way. Everyone's getting one. It's awesome.
yes, King Hiss is a phenomenal character. And I really love what Origins has done for their line. Jumping into the chat, I want to say hello to Masterversal Toy Hunter. Hello, Eldor. How are you?
Hello.
Hello, Nolan. How are you, sir? Thank you all for joining. My buddy's Customs. How are you doing, Gamer Bud? Payne's Toy Sample. Good evening. How are you, sir? and Carol. Guys, how are you? Thank you for joining the stream.
Always good to see you, Carol, and everybody in.
Absolute. Yes, that's who we have at the moment. So, um, is what was there anything that um you wanted to portray to the origin story of King Hiss? If you had anything, Adam.
Well, the only thing I was watching or I was reading the mini comic there from the vintage one, and I thought it was interesting because it was similar to the 2000X version where they had instead of where the 2000X where they had Evil Lyn and it was Cobra Khan going to release King Hiss, but in the mini comic, Evil Lyn was basically replaced with Skeletor. So I thought it was kind of neat that I think that was a little bit of a nod there. So depending on what type of lore that you're following, there's some different origin stories with King Hiss, and I just love it. I like the Snake Men; they're awesome.
Yes, the Snake Men are fantastic. And I know we're going to be getting a few more. I believe it's a Tongue Lasher, and then of course with
Yep,
the with the comics they have on the back of the packages. I believe they had shown Snake Face. I know they showed Snake Tila on the back of King Hisses. I
yep.
definitely know we're getting Tongue Lasher, and I'm not sure who else.
I think that's I mean, as far as announcements goes, yes, but I mean, there's certainly going to be other ones that they're teasing Squeeze as well, so it'll be another interesting one to see.
That's right,
Hopefully
they
he'll
sure
hope,
did.
hopefully he'll come. And yeah, him and Snakeface for sure. I'd like to see what they will do with Snakeface, considering he's got like the snakes on the chest. I'm wondering if they'll plug it in, or if they'll do like an action feature like they did with Mantenna's head, something similar to that maybe.
Yes, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So, going into seeing if there's anything in the chat. Let's see here. Is there any questions? Oh, let's see here. But my buddy's customs got my King Hiss hitting POL in a few days. That's going to be awesome. My buddy's customs. I can't wait for you to show that off. That I really want to see that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And everybody's saying hi to everybody in the
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah, that's good. And yeah, Masterversal Toy Hunter has a good point too, because Rio Blast is similar to Snake Based, where the chest piece kind of drops down, right?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
It's somewhat similar. I think
Yeah.
with Snake Face, what didn't the vintage Snake Face, wasn't it two like it was almost like two pieces of arms that dropped down in the chest, and then the snakes would reveal underneath, or something like that?
Yes. 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 Um, I didn't have it. I didn't have Snake Face, but I had a friend of mine who had them, and just similar to how the vintage Squeeze was, if I remember correctly, Squeeze had some arm things. I think like his arms went into his body, and then he had humanoid type arms. I think.
Are you talking about? Were you talking about Squeeze?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's his were like if you're talking about the vintage one, it's the exact same as the classics, pretty much. I think the only difference was with the vintage one, you could actually take the arm and you could stretch it like all the way down to one hand, and then stretch it like the other way to the other hand. You can kind of pull it through like a lasso loop.
Okay.
It was kind of cool, and a very very bendable material. The classics is the same, kind of the same idea.
All right. Yeah. They've done so much with Origins when they've done this reboot of Masters of the Universe with Origins. Granted they did a lot of things with classics. Hi, baby, I love you. they did a lot of things with classics, and of course, I missed out on classics, and I also have missed out on a lot of Masterverse. But at the end of the day, what they've done with Origins is spectacular. Um,
Yep.
I just love the different things that they're doing with Origins, and I hope they don't stop anytime soon. Anyway,
Yeah, I really hope that the line will go all the way to basically at least at the end of the vintage line. But if it wants to go beyond that, it certainly can because there's lots of characters and vehicles that were not released yet. A lot of them that are like based in the mini comics and different types of lore in Masters of the Universe. There's tons of it out there.
absolutely. And with not just the mini comics, but like the regular comics that
Yep.
you get in the normal toys, or excuse me, normal comic shops. There's so much literature out there. If you want to know about an origin story of a character, it's out there to be found. And of course, you can Google it, whatever else, and it's just phenomenal how they brought about all these different stories to Masters of the Universe. Because I found it funny that uh, when they said that King Hiss was the third major antagonist in Masters of the Universe against the Masters, and I was actually surprised that that did not come out in Filmation.
Yeah, me too. I
Because it's such a phenomenal story. And of course, you had the toy line actually before the Filmation cartoon line, and of course before any of the other cartoons that came out. So
yep.
this is actually one of the lines that actually did a reversal because normally it's a cartoon to a toy line.
Yeah.
And they did the exact opposite. And of course, at one point in time, Mattel was about to, wasn't about to be. They went to court with another entity. I forget who it was, but they were getting sued for uh, the body of how Masters of the Universe was portraying He-Man, whatnot. They said they stole it from Conan the
Yeah,
Barbarian.
yeah. I was just gonna say it was the Conan lawsuit.
Right. And when they sat there and went through litigation and whatnot, and the court said, no, you can't do this because that's not off of this, and you can't do that because anybody can have that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how they did some. In fact, I think it was a couple months ago. They had another toy company going against another toy company talking about, well, you got these people in wrestling stances. Well, you can't sue over a stance because you can't coin a
Right.
stance.
Just like you
So,
can't own a particular body type, like that's why they lost the lawsuit.
right. So, I mean, I thought, you know, we're I guess it was trying to be like asset protections, but it really wasn't because it's that's that real fine gray line.
Right. Yeah, there's always that gray area.
And that gray area is usually trying to catch up in my chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Master Versal was saying
Yeah, he's saying the exact same as what I was saying, where you pull the arms together, but it can go left or right, sort of thing.
yes. So yeah, I didn't have any of the Snake Men per se until well after the line was out, and I didn't have Squeeze. I had Ratlore.
Yep.
I got my hands on Cobra Khan, and I had my hands on King Hiss at one time, but again, I lost tons in my house fire with my entire collection. Um, and again, I had almost everything, but there was quite a bit that I didn't have.
Yeah, there was a lot that I didn't have, fortunately for me, the Snake Men, I had every one of them. it
Oh
was
wow.
it was stuff like Castle Grayskull I didn't have, and it was a lot of the heroic stuff that I couldn't find.
Okay.
I don't even think I had the version 1 He-Man with the harness. I always had the battle armor He-Man. I could never find the other versions, so but as the line went over and carried on, like the Horde stuff like that, I was able to find those no problem in my area.
Okay. Yeah. And see, that's been another thing that has been kind of a down a down spell for this line is the international distribution. Much even here at home, the distribution of this line, much less Masterverse and the other lines, they're they're kind of hard to come by.
Yeah.
It's like once this pandemic hit, and of course, as much as we all like to think we're out of this pandemic, we're really not. But we're in a we're in a better place than we were.
Right.
Um, but as far as the distribution, we're still having problems with that distribution and getting these toys out there. Much like, and it's not just toys; it's everything, everyday essentials. So
Yeah. Groceries are like crazy right now. Just trying to get groceries and stuff. Some people can't even barely get that.
right, and of course, then we just had the flooding over there. I don't remember cross seas. So I mean, them people are suffering too, and man,
Yeah, there's a lot going around. Unfortunately, all we can do is just keep as positive as we can through it, right?
absolutely.
I mean, that's the toys does it for me. It's what keeps me going.
Yeah, Payne's toy sample says he had Ratlore, Cobra Khan, and King Hiss when he was little. Tho-
It's
Man,
awesome.
those were some awesome figures, and
Yeah.
I definitely know about Ratlore and Cobra Khan, and I know I didn't have King Hiss until I was a younger adult, but when I got my hands on them just to see what was there, I didn't have like the things that came with them, but I had the figure itself, and that was enough for me at that point.
Yeah. What I'm wondering is moving forward with the origin figures, are we going to not have the action features going forward? Because it seems like we're getting less and less now. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, Honestly, I want to say, I really want to say that it's more of a that's a Mattel option really at this point because I don't know if it's going to stay retail. Um, it seems to me that with the Mattel Creation store, they have a lot of the things that they have in the retail store. Um,
Right.
and it's definitely choice and it's definitely few. So they might have like, I'm thinking they might have the lesser known, well, not lesser known, but the lesser characters that really aren't as popular going to the stores, maybe, and the ones that are going to be more popular will wind up staying on their line. Maybe going to BBTS. Uh, what's the other one? Something Earth. I don't remember the name of it.
Entertainment Earth.
Entertainment Earth. Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm thinking more along the lines that they're probably going to try and go and do an online retail at that point, which I think that's fine. I think it's phenomenal that they do that, as long as we know that we can keep them costs down. But at the
Right,
same time, but at the same time, how much is it going to hurt international retail?
right.
Because to get a King Hit was I got it off Big Bad Toy Store, so King Hiss was 24 $24.99, something like that, $4 shipping.
R-
Coming to me, uh, going international, you're talking about $24 from
yep,
there
20.
and
Be looking
maybe
at 25 easily for me.
25 to ship.
Yep,
You know, and to me, that's pushing it. I mean,
it
you're talking
is.
about a $20, $24 figure that turned into a $50 figure.
Well, that's
Uh,
exactly what happened with my King Hiss that I got for Classics. I got it at a really good buy. He took my offer, but the shipping was 25, so it brought it up to the same price as what I was going to pay for a Masterverse figure over at Toys R Us, which they usually sell them anywhere between 49 to 69. So I was like, well, if I'm going to pay that much, I'm going to go grab myself a Classics.
Absolutely. Uh, and, and I've seen what they've done with classics. Classics is point on. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it's
cream of the crop.
yeah, absolutely, and I understand the price for because it's not just the articulation. I mean, I would be good personally, even with Origins. I'd be good if they just did the regular stance that they had without the articulation, just to get back to where I was with my vintage line.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's the beauty part about it is a lot of us didn't get a lot of the figures, like especially some of the earlier ones. So now we get a chance to get them. So the Origins was a very, very smart move for Mattel.
and Master Versal Toy Hunter says, it's just a shame he wanted to block that path for other create. Oh. I think I missed something in the chat.
Probably a little ahead of yourself, but that's okay.
Yes, absolutely. Um, but yeah,
Think
I
you,
mean, these toy lines are phenomenal. And Mega J Retro has been saying it all through 2022 and probably even before that. What a wonderful time to be a collector uh,
oh
of
yeah,
of any of these toys. I mean, because if you look at what these toy companies are doing, yeah, there's a few foul ups here and there. Mondo just had their foul up with their He-Man and it breaking apart at the waist, but they're going and they're fixing it, and they admit their fault. And can we expect
yep,
that of all these other companies to do just such a thing? You're basically going to get two figures for the price of one. One's going to be broken and one's going to be fixed, so that you could do what you want to do with your your figure. And of course, they did the same thing with the Shiro with the smashed nose and
yeah.
all the other.
You were saying that you had the you got the rooted and the retail release of She-Ra, right?
Correct. Yes,
Yeah.
the PowerCon. Yes,
Yeah, we
2019.
were talking earlier. You were checking out to see. Did you find the sculpt on the face much different?
I actually did. That sculpt is very different.
Yeah, that's what I figured too. Because when I looked at it, because I don't have the PowerCon one, but when I looked at it up close and I looked at my retail one, I was like, wait a minute, I said this face is completely different.
Right. The retail version of the Shira is her face is a little bit more fatter and flatter. Whereas what I also noticed was not only in the painting of her face, but when you look at the PowerCon version of Shira, she's got that nice, sleek, slender face, and the paint and the makeup as what they did with the painting and the sculpture of her face,
Yeah,
it just looks so much better. I mean, it's
yeah.
so much cleaner.
It is like the PowerCon one is like it's like night and day with the retail.
Absolutely. And even the body sculpt is again. There's a difference in that body sculpt. If you take a real close look at those body sculpts, the difference in the PowerCon version of Shira and the retail Origin Shira that they put out, totally different. Uh,
Yeah.
with even the way like the hips are a little bit slender. In fact, everything's a whole lot sleeker on the
Yeah.
35 year anniversary Shira PowerCon versus the Shira retail version.
Right.
And
I I find there's a difference even with just like Shira versus like the Sorceress and Tila. I don't know what it is. I know it's mostly the same parts, but when I put both of them in my hand, it feels like the retail Shira is missing something. I don't know if it's accessories or what it is, but it just feels different.
yeah, like I think what they really did with the Shira for retail, uh, even like with again with Sorceress and Tila, like you got that real. Um, Even the sorceress that came with Castle Grayskull for
Yeah.
Orphans, those two sorceresses are almost spot on.
Oh, I
To
love
what
them. They were fantastic. I put
absolutely
them in.
fantastic.
Yeah.
This the Tila that they first came out with, uh, even that's fantastic. The new Tila that came with Zoar. Now, my only complaint with that is again, if I go back into my Masters of the WWE and Becky Lynch, what they did for her Tila figure compared to what they did for the 40th anniversary of Zoar and Tila, why couldn't why why not gold instead of that auspicious yellow that they did for that package?
Right,
Um,
right. So
and
yeah, the prototype art was different, right? Like the prototype was completely different.
absolutely, yeah, I mean, it did not fit the bill. And we got another new joiner. Hello, Brick
Oh,
Something. How are you,
hey,
sir?
got to give you a wave there. Mr. Brick Something's in the house, so we'll give you a wave from old
Thank
King
you for
Hiss.
joining the stream. Um, yeah, so like there was so much in certain different things. Again, even with what they did with King Hiss in the Origins version compared to what they did in the vintage, excuse me, in the vintage line, you know, the vintage line, you didn't have to put the head on for the snake and the two snakes on the arms and remove the other arms. It was if I remember correctly, I do believe the snakes were all up underneath the armor.
Yeah, I believe so.
Um, and so when I'm looking at this King Hiss, uh, which
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna
was just because they were just like single arms, right? Like, but they weren't as vibrant as you see. Like, it was more of a kind of more of a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a really dry type of yellowish color, but it wasn't
right,
bright, right?
right,
And yeah, it was just two arms that were stuck underneath the skin, and then basically the torso, and you just pull the whole, pull the whole thing off, basically.
right. And yeah, I haven't actually seen this one in my hand yet, so I am actually going to go ahead and open up King Hiss now. But I want once again, as we've all
Awesome, yeah.
seen it before, that packaging. I love the packaging for the Snake Men. I love the way that
I know,
snake
right?
comes.
Because they put the
Go ahead.
scales on the on the blister package. I thought that was
Right.
freaking genius.
Very much so. I absolutely love that. And and then of course I love the snake coming above the masters of the universe coming in here, and then this art on the front with King Hiss, and just what they did. But yes, this snake scale on the blister pack. That's I did not think they would ever do that with these blister packs, and that's
Yeah,
just an added bonus to me.
I can't. Where did you find him at now? Did you order that one? Did you say or?
I did actually. I've ordered a lot of my stuff for Origins from BBTS.
Okay.
When it comes to Origins, now some of my other stuff, I've gone as far as going to the secondary market. But again,
How do you find their shipping time with you in your area? Like, do you find they're fairly fast or?
BBTS. Let's see. I got this figure in the mail 3 days ago, and I paid for the shipping. He's been actually sitting in my pile of loot uh, since since they put him out on the pre-order, and then when he finally came in, I paid for him. So he'd been sitting there for probably about a month. Yeah, about a month. And again, last week is when I no, the week before last Thursday is when I actually paid for the shipping to have him sent out, and my Thunder Punch He-Man, which I'll be
Right.
doing a review on that as well in a later episode. But yeah, it took probably about 4 days, give or take Sunday.
That's not bad at all. It's been a
No,
long,
it's
long
not.
time since I ordered from them guys because, well, they're stateside and the shipping's high now. But the last figure I ordered from them was my back when the Super 7 was doing the Ultimates. I got the Ultimate He-Man and Skeletor.
Yes, absolutely.
They were cool. I'd love to be able to order from Big Bad, but unfortunately the shipping would really kill me.
And Brick something saying yes, they did. They did a great job on the Snake Man packaging. Man, the packaging for the Snake Man, I couldn't be
Makes you
happier.
not want to open them.
It really does. Um, in fact, it's making it to the point where I want to go to the secondary market, seeing as I can't get them on BBTS no more, and try and find one
Right. Just
at
to
a
keep one
decent
on
price,
package. Yeah.
just to keep it on package.
Yep.
Absolutely. I hear a
I
little
try to.
yiper.
Oh yeah, it's my my little dog. There must be company downstairs. She yaks. She doesn't like people very much.
That's okay. So, so yes, I love that. Like, I'll keep that blister pack. I don't normally keep my blister packs on the card,
Yeah.
but I do have a good habit of I have a certain process that I use to collect these stickers.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say there's a process that you can use too that I was doing with some of my doubles. Like if you ever get them in doubles, you can actually slice just the outer front piece of the shell, and then
Mhm.
and then if you're gonna open up your second one, just all you do is you cover that onto your first one, and it's like you never opened your figure.
There you go.
It's a pretty cool little technique that I learned from Bill over at Weird and Fantastic Toys. I think the original person that came up with the idea was Hebrew.
Okay. Yeah. Hebrew does a lot of really good stuff. The actual last video I watched that he did recently was the new thing that he was building for the Castle Grayskull. I believe it was a wall and a floor.
Yeah, the trap dungeon floor or whatever. Or,
Yes.
yep,
Yeah, and
the
that
gray
that, that
skull
was
floor.
fantastic.
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he does a lot of like 3D printing too. Like he does some really cool stuff. Like he'll do uh like a custom for what was he doing there? Catcher's armor stuff. Like for when she turns into the cat, he'd make the
Right?
armor, like the back plate and the face plate. Freaking cool.
Yeah. That that man is a genius with some of the stuff that he does. I don't know how he does it.
He's very good at the 3D printing. Like he's very familiar with it. Like I am with
Right.
the art stuff. I wish I could do the 3D printing, but I just don't have enough knowledge on it.
Yeah. Like I'm still looking for a decent 3D printer at a very decent price because being on a budget, even though
Yeah.
I work a lot, but I've got 4 kids and I've
Yep.
got this house and a car, like
Oh, I hear
everybody
you.
else. I've got
Yeah.
all
I'm
these
on
local
a
bills that
yeah.
does not go away.
No, unfortunately, and I'm the same way. I'm on a very strict budget that I have per month, and I cannot go over it.
Right, and and of course, you know, you got the inflation going on right now with
Yep.
everything. Everything's going up, up,
I'm
up.
ha- I'm I'm happy if I can get one figure a month. I'm happy.
Right, right. That's
If I get two, it's a friggin' bonus.
right. If I can get 2, I'm ecstatic.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's you got to think that's more than what I would have gotten when I was small, right? Like I didn't get a figure every time I turned around. I got them for my birthday. I got one for Christmas, and once in a while I might get one if I asked for it.
Right. Well, let's see. Oh, Masterversal Toy Hunter is talking about the Ground Ripper. In in my next live stream, Masterversal, I'm doing a what I was supposed to do over this last weekend, which I didn't do. I was not feeling good at all Saturday. Um, when it came time to that, I had to cancel, and I'm sorry for all that, but I have to take care of me first. I have to take care of my family first. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
um, so at the end of the day, hey, I can reschedule to do that, get better, and get 100% before I do another one of these. Because normally I don't do my stream, but I am going to try and start doing more than one stream a week. That way, one, I can get myself out there, and I can get some other people to come in and do the videos with me. But I can also do my videos on my own. Most of my videos right now are live stream. In fact, every single one I've done has been live streamed.
Yep.
Uh, so therefore, yeah, I'm gonna start doing some of these solo videos and reviews on my own, and just trying to upgrade my channel a little bit as I can.
Yep. You'll find like different little techniques that you like. Like when I first, if you look at my old content and some of the other guys' old content, like your channel might shift. Like mine shifted from just doing offline reviews. Now I got myself set in stone where I do live unboxings. I do the Mattel Creations live with the puppets, and basically this type of live stream when I'm a guest. So there's
Yes, yes.
all kinds of cool ideas that you'll come up with for your channel.
Oh yeah. In fact, I was joined on a channel for uh, 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 oh geez, it's his first. It was his. It's his first. It was his first live stream that he did. Uh, Darn it, I forget his name. Lair is at the end of his name. Um,
Oh, Largo's Lair?
Largo's Lair, yes, and
Yeah. Oh, or yeah, good Jim Largo. Yep.
that was his very first live stream, and man, they killed it.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely killed it. Loved it.
I love watching Jim Largo. He's so entertaining, and you always hear his rooster Eduardo in the background. It's hilarious.
Yes. And then of course I was and again, being in the toy network that we have going on, that Ostradamus Toys set up for everybody, as
Yep.
a meet and greet and to learn from each other. You know, that's such a fantastic idea that he had with that because I've met so many people in there now that I can not only just go to their channel, not only to support them, but I can also go to their channel to learn.
Yep.
And it's fantastic. Even the stuff that you do on Radical Toys, man, fantastic, 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 fantastic. I can't give enough praise.
Appreciate that. It's a lot of work. I can do anywheres from 5 to 6 hours a day if I'm creating puppets and stuff like that, or between that and doing the videos and prepping and all that stuff. It's a lot of work, but it's I get a lot of fun out of it. I enjoy it.
And you know what? That's the whole thing. Do what you love to do. You know, I keep trying to tell my kids at the same time, when you go out there in the workforce and go do what you do, don't go to a job that you hate
Yeah.
because then it's definitely work. Find your niche, get in where you can fit in, love what you do because then at that point it's not work. It's you're going in to do what you love to do
Yep.
and that's definitely what I've done almost all my life. There was a point in time when I was younger, of course, being young and dumb, didn't listen to nobody, mom,
Yeah.
dad, nothing. I'm right there. I got this. But then it came to, hey, you know what? Y'all were right.
Yeah. Sometimes the things that you really love to do might actually be the less paying job out there. And I've had that happen to me before, like where I used to work in a video game store years ago, and I still wish the place was still there. It was the best boss I ever had and the best job I ever had, even though it wasn't the highest pay.
Right. Absolutely. And Carol Geis is saying, anyone have any is that Virtuvian hacks? I don't know how to pronounce that word exactly.
Vitruvian. I think you got it right. Vitruvian. Yeah, I have a hard time. It's like a tongue twister for me, but I'm not sure. The only hacks that I'm familiar with is the video game hacks. I don't know if he's referring to the toys based on that or something like that, but I'm not sure. Are you familiar with those? I'm not.
I am so not familiar with those. Um,
Carol, just elaborate. What are they exactly?
in fact, I think. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, heard about them a few days ago. Okay. I'd have to look it up.
yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up myself. Yeah, because I honestly do not know Carol. Also, Carol, I caught it in my thank you stream at the very end, and it was too late because I had already shut down my stream. Thank you for also putting the word out about my dilemma uh, over the frogmonger situation and whatnot. I thank you very, very much for
Yeah.
putting that word out there for me. And
I think Carol's referring to the boss fight studio figures hacks. I'm pretty sure that's what you're referring to. If that is that what you're referring to, let us know. Because Boss Fight Studios, like they're stepping up their game. I freaking love and I want to get a hold of their Bucky O'Hare figures that they've made.
okay, she says kind of like Mythic Legions.
Yes, yes, it's the exact same ones I was just looking at. Yeah, it is the ones by Boss Fight Studio then. Yeah,
Okay, yep.
yeah,
And in fact, I've been at work all day, and of course over the weekend I was sick, so I didn't get to do any real research on some other stuff and whatnot. So I'm kind of out of the loop at the moment, but I'm gonna get there. Thank you, Carol. I'm gonna get there for that.
yeah. I'm just learning a lot of other stuff too. Like I just recently started to learn a lot about like Action Force through Largo and stuff like that, and Because Action Force is pretty cool too, because they're very similar to GI Joe Classified. So something like that would probably be up my alley. So I've been covering a lot of the news on it lately. So pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to step up my game on that too. I've been hearing a lot of good things about the Action Force.
Yeah. I don't own any yet, but if I was to own one, I'd probably go for the Sergeant Slaughter. Considering I don't have a Sergeant Slaughter action figure period, so I'd like to have one.
Yeah, my right now my only Sergeant Slaughter action figure that I have is my WW Masters of WWE
That's one
Sergeant.
of the ones that I was after, but he didn't come here. We only got two waves, and it was the ones with Mr. T and Jake the Snake. I actually got those in doubles. I was very shocked, and I almost passed on them because I wasn't really collecting the wrestlers. But where they had the only reason why I initially bought them is because they have the Masters of the Universe accessories. But once I actually bought them and I opened them up, I was like, man, I am so glad I picked these up in doubles.
Yes, yes. I think that was a fantastic line to to have uh, in Mattel, even before they even thought of origins. In fact, what I'm really noticing now when I look at the old WWE Masters of the WWE, when I look at that toy line and I look at the new Masters of the Universe Origins line, they're, they're they are the exact same sculpt,
Yep.
just done better now in Origins than what they were. But what they did with Masters of the WWE, I wish they would have kept that with Origins to a whole lot of circumstance, because with Masters of the WWE, they did a lot of the armors and this, that, whatnots like they
Yep.
did for classics.
Yes,
Whereas
they
Origins,
shared a lot of parts with the classics. That's what I liked about it.
yes, and again, like I said, so to me, at this point, my WWE Masters of WWE line, that's my classics line.
Yeah. Yeah, they're cool. They really are.
So getting into the art on the back of card, that card art is awesome. I
Yeah,
love
it's
this
cool.
artwork, and I'm not. I'm familiar with the names, but again, I'm terrible with names. You put a face in front of me, and I'm going to remember a face. But if you put names in front of me, I'm just.
Yeah.
But the,
Snake
the, uh,
Armory.
the gentleman who is responsible. Oh, excuse me. Let me just. The team that is responsible for the card art on the back of these, amazing work. And that's why when Oz from Ostradamus Toys, he started a scrapbook session to where they were just cutting these off and making scrapbooks of the comic,
Yeah.
and that that's another phenomenal idea from Oz. And man, but this artwork, even my kids love this artwork.
Yeah.
I got my 14-year-old. She's doing a whole lot of artwork and stepping up her game to go freehand and whatnot. And
That's good.
man,
My daughter's got my art talent too, and I've been trying to encourage her a lot more to draw more. But she's kind of one of those. She's kind of like if she can't draw good now, she doesn't look in the future of how good she could be. Because when I started drawing, like drawing comes in my family, but you have to take a couple years to get good at it. It's not something like it instantly comes to you, but it
right?
is. But the skill is there. But I mean, I started drawing when I was 9 years old, and by the time I hit 16, I was drawing pretty darn good, I must say.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, my 14-year-old, she's been going after it. She used to do a whole lot of tracing. So like she'd get on her tablet and she'd trace picture, take off the finger touch, whatnot,
Yep.
on the screen so that she could trace the character out, and then figure out how you do how you do the initial lines on how you create the character's basic
Yep.
outlook. Uh,
Well, there's a few different methods out there, but one that's very famous for art that a lot of teachers will teach is called the basic shape method.
right,
And yep, and it's basically just circles and squares. It's really funny because when people ask me, how can you draw? Like, how do you know how to draw so well? What I'll say to them is like, well, it's kind of like a bank accountant where they're very good with numbers. Artists are good with circles and squares. That's all I see when I look at something. It's just circles and squares. That's all it is. And you just put it together.
right, right.
Yep.
And of course, drawing, and that's not my forte. I've tried my hand at it. Like, I could do abstract art to where
Yep.
I could start with basic shapes, this, that. I could do that. But if you try to get me to draw like a humanoid figure or something like that, it's going to look like somebody from my 8-year-old tried to do it at 3.
Yeah.
I'm horrible at that. But at the end of the day, we're not all good at everything. So again,
Oh no.
find find your niche.
Yeah,
Um,
there's talents I wish I had. Like I wish I could do voices. I wish I could play an instrument. Like those are the skills that I don't have. Right?
right. Um, I had I at one point in time, of course. So I'm going to snitch on myself. Uh, I had started smoking at 8 years old,
Ouch.
and I am now 50. So at the end of February, I'm going to try to quit completely. However, I used to be able to get these little high octaves in my throat, whatnot, whatever, so I could do other voices. But now it's gotten to where it's monotone and lower bass that I can hit. So,
Right.
and and that's all due to the smoking. So, at that point, trying to do any other type of voice, trying to do a voice acting or whatnot, just not going to happen. So that's out the question.
Yeah. I don't know how some of the people out there, like some of those voice actors for animation and stuff, like they could do multiple voices. Like you look at, oh, what's her name? Can't believe I can't think of her name at the top of my head. She's the one that does the current voice of Harley Quinn.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Tara Strong, Tara Strong.
Yes,
She
yes.
she does like 20 different voices. Like she does My Little Pony. She's done all kinds of cool stuff.
I I thought it was actually funny that when the Simpsons when the Simpsons were out, um, not that they're not syndicated, but when they were originally out, that the original voice actor for Bart Simpson, and in fact, pretty much
It
most of them, was a female. I was like,
yeah.
really?
A lot of us didn't know that. I didn't know that either. That it was a woman doing Bert's voice.
Right. And I was just like, that's phenomenal. That's awesome artistry.
Yeah,
In fact,
there's a few of them out there that's similar to that. I just can't think of the top of my head, but there's like a couple out there where the guys are doing the girl voices too, and you would never know it.
yes, yes, absolutely. Um, in fact, there's a channel, Masters of the Universe, a tribute, and quite a few of. In fact, I do believe that Masterversal Toy Hunter Eldor is going to be in one soon, or has already been in one. Um, and I know that Duchess of Darkness has played her parts in it.
Yeah, I've
Um,
seen that.
and man, just phenomenal work that man does, and what you all do, what you all do as well, uh, to voice act that story. It just brings it to life.
Yeah,
To me, even though I own the franchise cartoons and filmation and in the Netflix series and whatnot ever, uh, to just hear the voices and sit back and close your eyes and visualize the story, and you can pinpoint the actual voices and who their character is, and just be
Yep.
like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then you got like the music and the sound effects to add to it on top of it. It's great.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And yeah, it's something that I know I couldn't do at this point. But
It's kind of like a recreating of those golden books where you have the tape and the tape is telling you the story. It's a lot like that, just more modernized. It's a good idea.
right, absolutely. Let's see here. Master Versal. Well, let's see. Uh, my buddy's custom says vintage Motu Bobby was also in the last one. He believes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, and then Master Versal Toy Hunter.
Duchess did a good job. I think she did Tila and the Sorceress's voice.
Yes, yes, and Master Versal Toy Hunter. He was Zodak. So, so I mean, so
Oh,
much,
okay. That's cool.
so much talent. Not. I mean, talent everywhere, and I applaud you all for everything that you've done. And Master Versal Toy Hunter, I seen your I seen your rat lore review and unboxing yesterday. That was great.
The beginning of it was good. Yep.
Yes, Reveiw.
Yeah. Who would have thought, right?
Right, absolutely great. So I wanted to take a look. Now I know we've all seen King Hiss again in Origins form and probably every other form. But I cannot get enough of this figure. Even the detail that they did do, the snake. I've got a glare. Try to hide that. There we go. The snake formation on his front chest plate.
Yeah.
That
It's
as I look
is
as I
his
look at that. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering if is his chest armor, is it soft or is it hard?
It's soft. That is actually
Okay.
soft. This is one of the ones that I'm actually surprised at because this chest armor that they have on him uh, is very much like Masters of the WWE, um,
Right.
and I think that's actually I haven't looked at it up close, but I do believe. I mean, I have with Jake the Snake Roberts, but if I look at his compared to also what King Hiss has on his chest for that snake emblem, I believe those are the same.
Probably.
I'm I'm thinking it is, and I can give me 1 second. I can grab them real quick.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Let's see, what are you guys saying? Master Versal Min on card Gandalf was there also. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I actually put his armor like in this box over here. Yeah, you know what? I think it is
It probably is.
because I'm looking at it now, and I've got a now Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake Roberts, his armor.
Oh, yes, sir. Okay, yeah, because I got the same one. I'm looking at the same figure now. He's up on my wall. I got him in doubles there, but yeah, it looks like the same snake, isn't it?
It's very much that very same snake, and
Is King Hiss's painted on, or is it molded? Is it like a mold?
It's molded, but
Okay.
and then painted over, and it's it is the exact same snake. Looking at it very closely, that is the very same snake. It's done exactly the same way.
I think the cool thing about that too, if you got the Jake the Snake, you can use that snake that he comes with the Snake Man. That's friggin' awesome.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, I've got them all set up on my tool bench right now because I'm putting them all up on their stands now. I went to the secondary market and grabbed a bunch of stands so I can
Mm.
start setting them up in my shelves so they're not just on
Right.
their feet, scratching up the bottom of the feet. But yeah, I think that's fantastic. Um,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
pretty
glad
cool.
Origins did that.
I'm so glad that we got as far as we did in the Origins. I wasn't expecting much past the original first back eights, right? Like I was thinking, oh man, past the first couple waves, but here we are. What wave? What 12 now?
Yes, and getting ready to go into Wave 13.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Absolutely. Now, now, you know what? Here's the thing with Origins, which I'm actually quite surprised with. The vehicles or the rideables that we've gotten for Origins, um, I, I, I really think that we've gotten a lot of what we've gotten for Origins, but just knowing that if it was a battery or motorized vehicle, I highly doubt we're getting it for the Origins line.
That's what I was thinking too. Or at least if they did it, you can probably forget about the action feature that it has.
Correct. Like I know that there's been rumors out there about the attack track and similars to that. You know, like what we got with the Road Ripper. Okay, so of course now it's the Ground Ripper due to
Yeah.
licensing, but we didn't get the Ripcord. Orco was the same way with Origins. We didn't get the little
Yeah.
uh, Ripcord with him so that he'd just spin around in circles.
It it makes me wonder what we would get for like something like the Dragon Walker, because they wouldn't have that action feature. So what else could they do with it? It would have to be like it's just an articulated right on dragon, I guess.
Right. And to me, I think that would take away from the from, from from the vehicle itself, not to mention the lore of it. So
Yeah.
um, I am happy that they sprang the Bashosaurus on the last card art.
Yeah.
Um, and
That,
I own one. I own a vintage one, and I think even if they didn't put the spring loaded uh, bash part for the
yeah.
Bashosaurus, I think I think that would take away from it. But at the same time, I don't think it would really take away because it could be like just a spring loaded to where you pull it back and it stays in that position until you hit the button and it goes forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because essentially that's what it's going to do anyway. With my original Bashosaurus, the only thing was that it was spring loaded to pop backwards into place so that you could push the button again and it go.
Right.
You know, so I could see that happening into that point, but like uh, a lot of the things like I've noticed with Origins is the action things that's happened has depleted, and does it really take away from the figure? Um, to me, I don't particularly think that having the gimmick was the cause of the figure to be so popular, but maybe it
Mm.
was. To me, I think I just think the artistic gesture of the figure as to what it was and to what it is now is to me is better than what's the word I'm looking for? It's better than what it. I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna vary person to person. I mean, myself, I definitely would like to see the action features. Um, for me, it was a big thing, especially characters like Cyclone, and I really hope his will be there, things like that. But yeah, it's gonna vary person to person, I think. But yeah, that's a cool head. I like the how they did the head sculpt because like the vintage one, his head was straight up, but this one, his head they managed to do his head straight, so it looks cool.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, you could turn it from side to side, and he can look down, he can look up. You couldn't do that with the vintage. And
Right.
uh, to to me, to be
Now,
able,
is his arms bendable? Is there's no wire or anything in the arm, is there? Like
no,
okay,
it,
okay. I wasn't sure.
yeah, when you it has the same, it has that same pivot point as your normal arm. Let's see, I'm way over here.
Okay, so your hinge joint basically. Yeah, it's just got like a hinge on it.
Yeah,
I
it's got
wasn't I wasn't sure if you could bend the arms around or not. Like I was thinking you could bend them around, but I'm probably just thinking of the classics.
oh no, you definitely got the full articulation. You can go up and down with them, so they come down to the hips. And what what I'm actually really loving about this figure is that they didn't spare the detail. I mean, like they could have just totally said, "Screw it," and had that, but they didn't do that. They got the scales in here the way to let you know, hey, I am a snake, and I am able and willing to take you out.
So are they
Uh,
like molded scales on them? Like how does the arms feel?
it is definitely molded to the scales. So like
That's
when you
cool.
feel it, you could definitely tell like it if you had your eyes closed and you didn't know any better, that it definitely feels like a reptile. And then of course they did the same thing with the underarm, so you could see the scales of like the underbelly of the snake, and you
Okay,
could
yeah.
and you could feel those as well, and that's just so magnificent. I was just like, wow.
I'm impressed with it. Does he pull apart at the waist? Like can you fully pull him apart? Oh, he
Yes,
does
sir,
too.
you
Okay,
can.
good.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
So like that's something that was the next thing that I was getting ready to get into. So like his removable parts are head, arms, uh, at the boots.
Okay, yep. The boot covers the waist, the wrists, and the arms and the head. Yep.
So yeah, that and and see that's what I really love about these lines of what they're doing
Yep.
to do that pop and swap capability. That just
Yep.
makes it even more. You could do so much more with it. If you're a customizer, you could pull all your things apart and build them all crazy if you want to, and it's fantastic. Um, and then I love the way that they did his shield. That shield is
Yep.
fantastic.
It turns on the there's a joint on it too, right? So that you can spin the shield around.
Yes,
Does it rotates? Yeah, no, that's going the extra mile because they didn't have to do that, and I think that was fantastic.
yes, no, they did not have to do that at all, and that is very fantastic. And even with the way that they molded that, um,
Yeah, my buddy's customs got a very good point. He says the big feature of Origins is the swappability, and that comes first. So that's something to keep in mind. And you're completely right about that. So they're gonna think about the swappable parts first before the action features, and that makes sense.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, I was just reading that. I was getting ready to bring that to light. Thank you for beating me. It's two heads better than one,
Oh yeah.
but I love this as well. That staff.
Oh yeah. It does it feel as good as the vintage one used to, because they look so cool.
You know what? I want to say there are part points of it that I can say yes to, but like to me the snake feels better that's
Okay.
wrapped around. However, the staff, it's so flexible.
Oh, okay.
So
So it's more
so like
bendy.
yeah, I mean, like unless you literally like take it and like you're gonna break it like a pencil,
Right.
then you might get those stress marks on it. But other than that, um, I think it really does feel better. I think with the staff, I think I would have made it a little bit more taut, but that snake on here is it feels fabulous.
It
So
looks cool.
it's
Now
very
is the shield more soft or hard?
the shield is definitely a solid state. Um, it's got a little bit of pliability to it, but that's just because the shield is really not as thick as it looks.
Okay.
Even though this is that, but that's just the outside molding, and that was to be able to get. Um, if you can see at the end of that, there is a silver joint
Yeah.
inside that inside the clasps,
Yeah, the
so that
pins
they
so that
can
you can rotate it. Yeah.
right. So at that point, like that's really stout. The clasp that's really stout, but the shield itself, you can definitely bend it, and if you put heat to it, you're more than likely going to melt it.
Okay. What about the clamp itself? Like, because I always worry about those types of clamps, because sometimes like they can break easy or they can put stress marks on them. Do you think it would cause stress on the arm after a while, or do you think it'd be all right?
I really don't think so. No, actually, that feels really good going on to the
Does
arm.
it?
If
Okay.
that's real good. I think that with the way that they've done Origins, and the way that they've done these new weapon mechanics that they've done in the tooling, they've looked at how they're going to do that. You know, over time, yeah, okay, you might peel some paint, going back and forth, attaching and reattaching and unattaching. You, yeah, but other than that, no. That feels really good, and then it's really not necessarily tight. It's not loose, but it holds on right at the grip that you think it should, so that you could just have that maneuverability and not worry about twisting it around and damaging the pivot points and or the pivot points of that clasp.
Looks like your connection might be dropping there. You're cutting in and out.
Oh, did I cut in and out? Can you hear me now?
Looks like your screen is completely frozen now, so I don't know if we lost you or not. Oh, there you go. It was like big lag spike there.
Yeah, it seems to happen to me on my stream. I really do. I have an older computer. I've got an old Pavilion 20 all in one computer. So I definitely need to upgrade that. But I've upgraded my other
Okay.
equipment like uh, my ring light, so that I have more like coming to me this way rather than how I had it, where all the glares were just everywhere and
Yep.
looked like I had all kinds of stuff. But I got this LED circle light now that's up
Yep.
on my wall in front of the computer. I got a new streaming microphone, and I got a new LED computer keyboard, and
Mm.
just trying to do a little bit by little bit. And my next thing
Yep.
to get is my camera, so that I have a secondary camera, so I can set up for like a toy cam and whatever
Right.
else, and still use this one. But I really
Yep.
need to upgrade my computer. That's what I really need to do.
That's what I did step by step, is just going one thing at a time. Then I got my studio box lights for my unboxing in the other room, and I got my banner. And I that's what I did. You just upgrade one thing at a time.
Absolutely. Yep. It's got to take your time with it. Not everything has to be done all at once. So. But this is the figure completely put together.
Looks cool. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm
this
a big
is
fan of King Hiss. I love him so
like I knew about King Hiss as far as like the vintage line, but again, I didn't know so much about him that uh, he was a missed character, should I say, from my vintage line, until I got to collecting all of the uh, all of the vintage comic books, which he was never introduced into from 86 to 87. He wasn't actually introduced into the comic books until 2002 when they did 2000X He Man. And again, I was just like, wow, what, what a missed opportunity. Even for Filmation at that point, what a missed opportunity to bring something to the Masters of the Universe line of their line for the cartoon.
yeah.
But again, that just left opportunity to grow as to what we had in the 2000X series, which I wish would have
Yep.
lasted longer, um,
Uh,
and what we've got now. In fact, February the 15th is the launch of the new Eternia comic book by Dark Horse Comics, and I will definitely be getting into that, collecting
yep.
those. And I've got nothing but a whole box right here on the side of me. It's nothing but Masters of the Universe. Every single inch of that box is Masters of the Universe, from the very first original comic up till the last date that they've made it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I spent a lot of money to get that.
I can imagine. So
But
Carol is asking, what's the color shifting paint? If you move it, it changes colors. I believe you're referring to the chroma paint, the chroma flare paint. Depending on the angle you look at it, it'll change color. That's
yep,
probably what you're referring to.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. Yeah, my I've got like so many. You must have a lot of Origin mini comics. Like I've got stacks and stacks of them now.
Oh, I do. In fact, what's funny is my girls and I are getting into something. I'm going to go to. I work at the Dollar Tree personally, and so I'm getting some poster board where my girls were talking about we want to do some collages. So I asked them, well, what kind of collages do you want to do? And they're like, well, I don't really know. So I sat there and I asked them, well, do you want to do comics? Do you want to do just magazines? Do you want to do fashion, art of any type, whatever?
Yep.
And my 8 year old says, well, Dad, you got a whole bunch of those um, mini comics downstairs that you're saving, and I know you're going to want to try and give some of those out for Halloween. whatnot, whatever. And that was something that I got from my buddy's customs because that's something that he's gonna do probably this Halloween, giving them out, giving them out to the kids, and pass pass it around, get it to the younger audience because
That's a good idea. That's a really good way to get them out there to people.
absolutely. I mean, because look, I'm 50 years old. I'm not going to be around forever. So if you want this line to live, if you want these figures and comics to live, get them out to the next generation because the next generation is what's going to keep it alive.
Yeah, because I mean, you could do up little treat bags and just put one of those mini comics in, and the next thing you know, the kids are like, "Mommy, who are these toys?" Because it shows the toys and the figures right on the back. Next thing you know, the parents are looking for them. So that's a good way to do it.
Oh, absolutely. My buddy's custom says I didn't know anything about the Snake Men till around 2000X series came out.
I am
Um,
so happy that they did the Snake Man in the 2000X. I am so happy. At least we got them in some sort of animation form.
yes, and to me, the way that they did this, because I've actually been going back and forth on YouTube now, and I'm looking at the 2000X cartoon series uh, via via YouTube now, and I'm just like, this cartoon was absolutely amazing. Now, the only thing to me with 2000X is the intro. That he
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
that's annoying as I don't know what to me, but but the way that they did the intro, I'm loving the way they did. They started to they paid homage to the original filmation and
Yep,
then made it their own,
yep.
and that I definitely love. Um, in fact, and Carol, I love the Dollar Tree too. I had actually been I'd actually been trying to get on with them, and up until earlier in the year, uh, this year, after they had all of their people quitting this, that, whatever, I finally got in that door. It even for what it is, it's a hard place to get hired into. It really is. You almost got to know somebody, and I actually knew somebody so that I could get in, and I'm very very grateful. They got a lot of
Awesome.
good things in there, and in fact, one of the toy lines that I talk about a lot is Final Faction. Uh, that that toy line made by Dollar Tree is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, um, one of my first videos, in fact, my very first, my debut video was about Final Faction. Um, but yeah, um, phenomenal little toy line. Um, should it's taken off. Uh, but at the end of the day, uh, toys is what we do, and it's
Yep.
not it's not just it's to me it's not the it's more the thrill of the hunt for the toy, and it's never about the monetary value to me.
No, me neither.
Because I know I'm going to open. There are certain things that I'm not going to open, like in particular, like my Power Cons and my Mattel Creations. Unless I get two of it, I'm not opening it. But like just the retail ones, I'm more than likely going to open it. I'm going to display it, but
Yep.
more than anything, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to get down on the floor with my girls. Uh, for whatever reason, I've not been able to have a boy, but hey, you know what? I get to play with my girls. My girls look at it, hey, we're playing with dolls. I thought boys don't play with dolls. I said, yes, we do. That we
Oh
just
yeah.
call them figures.
That's 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 like a myth. Like I don't know. It's I think it's a lot to do with a lot of the older generations, because a lot of the older generations didn't do that. They didn't play with a lot of that type of stuff. And like my dad, for example, like girls play with dolls, boys play baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And to me, there's never been a thing like.
Like that to me, that's a myth. It doesn't even exist.
I thought it was always funny. Now, granted, my mom was okay with it, but my dad from his era, boys don't play with dolls. But all I had in the neighborhood, with the exception of like five really good close friends that were boys, I'd go out and play with the girls just as much as I'd go out and play with the
Yeah,
boys. And, the girls are always into doing some other things like, I'm not going to go out there and skip some rope, but I'm going to do something to get some exercise. But if they come out and they're like, hey, we're going to play with these Barbies and blah, 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 I'll play with the boys, but I'm not going to play with the girls. you know,
yeah, yeah,
you know, there was always that factor, but it was always funny because like when my friends would come over and they'd be like, "You're playing with girls?" It's like, "Yeah, you know, what's the what's the difference?"
yeah.
Because they'd come over and they'd come over to my house and they'd play with my He-Man figures, my GI Joes, and my Star Wars stuff like that, and it was it wasn't nothing different. It was just the size of the doll and how they were articulated.
Yeah. I tend to like a lot of the females in toy lines anyway. I mean, Sorceress is my favorite, so what does that tell you?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, three of my favorites right now that I have, as far as the females and the toy lines that I have, China, first and foremost, she was a very, very, very awesome wrestler.
Yep,
Uh, but her figure, because of where she's at, she is actually the Shira figure. Um,
yep.
and then, of course, you've got uh, Becky Lynch, where she was Tila. I really love her color scheme.
Me
Excuse me.
too. With the orange, she's the one with the orange hair, right?
She's the one with the orange hair with all the
Yeah,
gold trim.
I
Yes.
like it too. The only one I
Um,
have is the Stephanie McMahon as the Evil Lynn. That's the one I have.
oh, yeah. And she's got the skull face to go over the.
Yes, yes, that one. Yeah,
Yeah, I have all three of them, and yeah, those are like my three favorites. Well, those are my three favorites from that line. But between that, yeah, I've got sorceress, and then the second evil one that they came out with in Origins, that was more to her color scheme in the cartoon of 2000X,
right.
rather than the yellow mustard evil one. I don't even really like that figure. I got it because I wanted to add it to my collection.
Yeah, it was the same with some of the ones that I have for the. I think it was just like I didn't really care for the Stephanie McMahon one that much, but I got it just to complete the wave, right?
Right, absolutely. Let's see, my buddy's customs. I played with my sister's Barbies with her all the time. I played with her Shira figures, and she would play action figures with me. And again, there's
Yeah,
no difference. You know, we, we're programmed as adults and as children from adults that boys are supposed to be a certain way and girls are supposed to be a certain way when, okay, yeah, we have minute differences.
yeah,
However, play is play.
yeah. Because
You know,
that's the problem is a lot of the I hate to say older generations, but they limit your children's skills by doing that thing, by doing those things, and telling your boys or your girls that you have to play with these and nothing else. You're limiting their skills and abilities.
correct. and
Because we all know, like, toys are a very important part of child development. They really are.
correct. They no, they very much are. And it's about that interaction.
Yep.
It's that fine motor development. It's that it's what starts their artistic view.
Yep.
Um, so absolutely. I was again, I was blessed to have some things when I was a child. My childhood was not the prettiest type thing. Not to get into that, but at the end of the day, what my mom and dad did do, they were, even though they were very two different sides of the coin, they were also two two of the same coin. So like there was, for me to explain that better is, even though I'm doing something that you think is kind of weird, they let me go with it and explore it before and let me make my own decision rather than uh, hit that brick wall. You're not going to do this.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, I loved when I was growing up. I loved Gem and the Holograms. I used to watch that with my sister every freaking day. Like that would be one of the main shows that I like to watch.
yes. Um, I had watched a few of those episodes. Um, Gem, what I liked the music,
Oh, me
and
too.
I I liked the art of it,
Yep.
but I just couldn't really get into the storyline of it.
It was different because a lot of the stories had to do with like whether it was romance or a lot of that stuff. Battle of the Bands and romance was pretty much the theme for Gem.
Yes, and Carol is saying that Oz and I played without Shira and He-Man. You know, again, you know, it's that's brother and sister, and even with my buddy's customs, that's brother and sister. But uh, it's no different than me going down the street and playing with the girls down the street, or me going and playing with the guys down the street. And we did different we did different things. Like if I went to go play with the guys, we were playing guns, which I wouldn't suggest to do that anymore these days because people are stupid. But we were going to play guns. We were going to play baseball, football, hockey, whatever. We're getting into gladiator sports. Uh, and then being with the girls, of course, we're not we're not going to be physical in that sense. We're going to be uh, doing like storylines, and that's how I got to get to another part of my frame of mind is getting into a different imagination type setting, so that I could actually construct what I want to do with the toys, whatnot, whatever, and how the storyline's going to proceed and progress. Because even though you might just be doing it on a whim, you're still kind of doing it in a sort of self-made script.
Yep. Yeah, it's
And Gamer Bud says, and when I got into drawing, I would take all my action figures and set them up in a line and draw them. I'd put them in poses attacking each other and draw them fighting. That's fantastic. Um,
yep.
I never thought to do that, my buddy's customs. I never thought to do things like that when I was a kid. I was very, very excitable. I was always just, I'm on the move constantly. I find myself still that way as an adult. I'm more relaxed, but I was very hyper as a child. And
I was too. I was very hyperactive.
as an adult, I've learned to simmer that down and now I can sit back and I can really start taking a perspective. Like at the moment, uh, I am actually doing a drawing that I'm going to paint here later, where I'm doing a abstract scene art, which is a pyramid, and in the background I'm doing like this whole desert and mountain terrace set up in the back, where it's going to be a whole lot of shadowing, whatnot, whatever. But I've also got my skyscape and the landscape in between, so it's it's a weird kind of picture the way that I'm doing it, but because I could turn it to another position and it's something totally completely different.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think that's just the way my brain works with that. So like I could do that kind of stuff easy, but if I was to sit here and look at this and try to do this, it's not happening. I can't do it.
That's where I would come in.
Like my girl, my lady, she's real good at doing like things. She did this. Now, mind you, it's been some years back, but she did this uh, drawing of Aeolus from Lord of the Rings, and she did it just by looking at the TV. She paused the movie and did the whole sculpt out, and then put a whole terrain behind them that wasn't there in the movie. And I'm just like, uh, damn.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's a real good artist. So I think if I think if my 14-year-old, if Jada actually just sits back, relaxes, takes her time, because she's doing some phenomenal work now. Uh,
Yep.
just as a starting, she's got it if she wants it. You know, it's just a
Yeah.
matter of what she wants.
And that's just it. And yet I don't want to. And it's the same with my daughter. I don't want to force anything, but I try to encourage it.
Absolutely,
But everyone has their own path.
very much so. But
Yep.
yeah, again, this was this was fun.
Oh yeah.
I had a lot of enjoyment. I really do. Thank you for being here, Adam.
Oh,
I am
absolutely.
I am
Anytime.
gonna I am going to end my stream tonight. But
Yep.
I will be doing a another unboxing. That will be the oh what which one is it? The Thunder Punch He-Man. I'll be doing that soon.
Oh,
Um,
cool. Yep.
and that's actually got some pretty cool things about it too. Even though it doesn't have the exact same gimmick, um,
Yep.
but there's still a part of that gimmick that's there, and vice versa. In in what we have here, some of the gimmicks that we have here in Origins are better than what we had in the vintage line. And again, how much more can you really ask for in these lines? Um,
Right.
I know we could ask for a whole lot more, but in a really broad view spectrum to keep that price point right where it should be, and costs, whatnot, whatever. How much can we expect? How much do we really want to expect? Because
Yeah.
if we ask Mattel to be this, they're going to be like how Hasbro is, and now Hasbro's having a ridiculous problem.
Yeah. They've got their layoff. What is it? 15% of their overall staff.
Absolutely,
So
and
that's a big sting.
you know, and to me, I think that was actually I don't remember which one it really was. Actually, yes, I do. It was the I I think they actually lost their ass when it came to the Ghost Rider.
Yes,
That they,
that because
that
that one didn't get funded, did it?
it did not. I think it got like a third funded, but it didn't get. It did not get nowhere near what they were expecting to get, so they had to scrap the whole thing. And
Yeah,
you know, I think the whole tier thing is great, but you have to give the fans what they want, and it's not just
that's what I'm saying. Like you like do a poll and ask the community what they want. That's all you have to do,
right.
and then
You know,
base it off and then go for the overall percentage.
and and then if I'm not mistaken, they did that off the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, I think, or I know it was Robbie something. They did it off that Ghost Rider, and he's not really a very popular Ghost Rider. Like it to me, if they would have went with like one of the Horsemen from the Ghost Rider, as well as the Mephisto character versus the crap they tried. No, uh, they they would have probably made that, but
Yeah,
you're you're given this vehicle that nobody really gave a damn about, and then you're given, you know, you got to give not just the fans, but who is the population that you're targeting. So if you're asking adults that want to collect this line, if you're asking them to finance this, give them what they want to collect, not what you want to make.
yeah.
And really,
That's
that that's everything in a nutshell.
yes,
Because
sir.
what what would what would have happened with Eternia had uh, they had Eternia, okay, $550. If we get certain amount of backers, then we'll go up a tier. And when they brought out Modi, that that killed it.
Yep,
Everybody wanted that critter. It wasn't even about Eternia
yep.
at that point. It was about the critter. And
Yeah, it seems like everybody wanted that one.
absolutely, and I'll admit it. I had to back away from it because of the price point, because I didn't have it at that moment in time. I was actually out of work, so and it doesn't bother me that I'm not getting something. Uh,
Oh, me
eventually,
too.
eventually I'll get it if I really want it. If the means is there, I'll get it. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to live or die without it, and I'm not going to be happy or sad without it. It's out there. It's obtainable
Yeah,
if I really want to stress that to that. But other than that, no. It's
no,
I don't have to have it. Of course, the
no.
dimensions of it, 3 foot by 4 foot.
Well,
Gee,
I knew going into it that I wasn't going to get it because it's too big and it's just out of my price range, and I'm okay with that. But I was happy for everyone that did go for it.
oh, absolutely. Now, to me, I do know. I think my biggest thing is, and which I hope Mattel does, on 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 February the 14th. Now, granted, I'm not really worried about it because it's February the 14th. It's Valentine's Day. I've got other things that I'm going to be doing, but that's an odd time to drop a a secret figure for Motu. Now, like to me, the only person it really could be or figure it could be is Bo.
Bo, yeah, a lot of people are speculating Bo. Unless it's like some sort of hidden thing like that, I was saying basically I'm still thinking it's gonna be he Skeletor, but if it is gonna be something secretive like that, like for Valentine's, then Bo would be a good choice.
Bo would be an excellent choice. I'm also kind of wondering at some point in time, considering what they did with King Grayskull with the Eternia, would they bring a King Grayskull without the soft goods?
Yeah, hard to say, right?
It's
Hard
very
to,
hard to say, But then
Did
again,
you did you go for Frogmonger? Did you get one?
I tried. I Okay. So here's how this happened. I went after my frogmonger, but I thought I had everything in place. And when I went to check out, I got declined. I went and took a look at my account, and I'm like, oh shoot. So I had paid some bills beforehand, and thought I still had just enough to be able to at least capture one. Wasn't happening, but because of our group, and because of Carol, and because of Oz, and because of my buddy's customs, yes, I am getting one. Someone got one for me from our group, and I
That's
can't,
good.
I cannot express my gratitude because again, to me, the frogmonger, just for two reasons. I don't have many grails. Frogmonger was my grail for this Origins line because one, he was only a picture and a sticker in Grayskull,
Yep.
and I didn't really know anything about Frogmonger up until that point. And now I'm going back and doing the research and trying to figure out what is his origin story. Um, and so at the end of that, getting into a lot of his origin story, he's actually not even Eternian. So
Yep.
I'm just absolutely stoked that I will be getting this figure. And again, I thank my buddies Customs and Oz and Carol Geis for putting the word out there, and being able to help me out to get that.
Yep.
And you know, I just can't say thank you enough, and there's not enough words for the gratitude that I have. But again, at the end of the day, why he's my holy grail is because again, he was just a sticker inside a Grayskull, and he became a figure. And that's what I'm really loving about this Origins line, and even the Masterverse line. Even though I don't own any of the Masterverse, the things that they are coming out with for
Yep.
these lines that were never even vintage, that's a lot,
Yep.
even to the average collector.
I'm the same page as you when it comes to that Frogmonger. He's gonna be like the holy grail for me because it's just something unique parts, and I could see a lot of people going crazy with customs with him.
Hey, you know what, my buddy's customs, you know what, I could actually see that. Uh,
I would love
if
a
it's
King Randor or
Valentine's Day,
Marlena. Yeah.
yes, you, and you know what, we've never had a Queen Marlena, so, and why I don't know, because Queen Marlena is actually one of the biggest. To me,
Yep.
is one of the biggest people in Eternia, because one, that's the queen, but she had a lot of backstory too. Just her
Oh
origin
yeah.
story by itself. Wow.
She has a big
Uh,
history, like being Captain Glenn and stuff. She was a like she's very she has a pretty big vast backstory.
yes, absolutely. Master Versal Toy Hunter is saying Frogmonger's parts, a lot of them belong to Modulok. Yes,
Yep. Yep.
absolutely.
Chest, legs, and
Um,
arms, I believe.
yes. So again, we're right into that figure too, because we've been Modulok has been teased how many times already on card art? I think like
I'm
two or
cool
three
with that.
times.
More Horde members is right up my alley, so I'm cool with that.
Absolutely. Um, Actually, one of the Horde figures that I can't remember which one he is. He's the little blue guy with the little bald blue head with the little tongue. Uh, what the heck is
Blue.
what the heck is that? He's a little blue horde character. He's got a little bald blue bulbous head, and he's got that tongue out. It's not tongue lasher. Um,
Because I was thinking of Imp for a second. I'm like, no, it can't be Imp.
that would be a cool figure. Um, but yeah, I can't remember who that is.
Trying to
Uh,
think of who you're referring to.
he would always hang around like the other snake men because he's actually a snake man. But he's like a midget. He's a little snake man. Um,
I'm trying to think of who that would be. I'm having a
uh,
brain freeze on it. Because
I
you got
wish
like,
I wish I could bring up a picture of him.
because it's
Uh,
not, it can't be like multi-bot, it can't be Mosquito. There's, um, oh, what's that guy's friggin' name? He looks like a friggin', I always call him the coffee cup guy. He's got the spinning face.
yeah.
Can't remember his name either. There's
Uh,
Entrapta. There's oh, you're not talking about the bald guy. No, because he's not short. Because I was thinking about the other guy that's blue and he's got the wings.
yeah. No, no, no. But he was always hang. In fact, he was the first time I seen him was on Shira, and he was part of the Horde.
Can't be
In,
drag store. No, not drag store.
no, he just always had this little red tongue that would come right out of his face, even in the cartoon. But it wasn't tongue lashing.
Oh, because he was in the She-Ra cartoon.
Yes. In fact, it was the one. I think it was the second episode of Shira that he was in it. There was Snake, one of the Snake Men, and then he was right next to the Snake Man, but he's one of the Snake Men.
Hmm.
Let's see.
I can't think of who it would be.
Dilemud.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Dalamug. He's the one that reminds me of a coffee cup.
um, but yeah, he was he was in that second episode of Shira, um, or not the second episode. It was what was the title of that cartoon? I think it was called. I know it was something Bo, but Bo was playing a song in the village, and the two Snake Men wanted to create trouble, and Shira turned around, came back, and threw them in the middle of like all these rocks in a canyon that were towered up. It was pretty cool.
The funny thing is, I probably know who it is. I just can't think of who you're talking about.
It'll come to
It'll
it'll
come to me after the stream.
right, exactly. So we are coming up on the 2 hour mark,
Yep.
and I am going to definitely go ahead and uh, close down the stream on this uh, episode. And I have to be at work at 4:30 in the morning, so I've got my delivery truck coming in. And I've got to take care of that. So
Okay. Cool stuff. Well, it's been fun hanging out with you guys, and always, anytime you ever want me to come on, just let me know, man. I'm usually free, so.
absolutely, it's been fun. Again, you guys bring. I have to study for most of my knowledge, so y'all come with the knowledge that you all already have, and of course, I've got some knowledge, but again, I'm not as knowledgeable as to hanging on to it as you all, and I definitely
I'm
appreciate it.
forever learning. Funny thing is, I'm forever learning something new with Masters of the Universe. Every time I turn around, there's something that I haven't known, or there's always something new.
Oh,
Yeah.
and My buddy's custom said
Voltak was the guy that has the wings. The guy that I was telling you about. He's blue. He has the wings.
Oh, okay. All right. And Master Versal Toy Hunter says, good show. Thank you very much, Master Versal Toy Hunter, for my buddy's
Very good,
customs.
Master.
Thank you very, very much. It's been fun. It's been an honor to have y'all here. And at this point, I am going to say good night, good
Yep.
journey.
Good night.
Adam.
Good night, everyone. Have a good one.
And again, I have a notification down here that's streaming on the channel. Uh, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. Make sure you check out Adam's channel at Radical Toys and everybody else's channel in the chat, and Master Versal Toy Hunter. My buddy's customs. I believe I know you have an IG, but I think you said something about having a YouTube channel soon. Can't wait to see it. Good night, everybody, and I'll see you on the next one.
Yep.
Good night.